In this little coding session, I will show you some TypeScript code. So that's an app I have been building for now 1 week. And this app, it's about decision. So it's a native React app. I have been building everything in TypeScript. I'm using Yarn 3, actually now Yarn 4, as a dependency manager to manage all of the dependencies of the project. So if I go here, Yarn V, normally I'm always used to use Yarn as a dependency manager. I use NPM from time to time or PNPM, but Yarn, I think it's quite a stable and reliable dependency manager. Yes, it's actually Yarn 4. Previously, it was Yarn 3. Yarn 4 is actually relatively new. I use Volta for the node manager. So before I was using NVM, node manager version, and I had so many issues with NVM. It's also really slow and you cannot lock the node version per project. So here with Volta, as you can see, you can lock directly per package.json very easily. In the opposite, unlike NVM, where it's harder to do that, with Volta, it's like natively you can just set the node version per project, so per package.json file, and the same with the dependency manager. For instance, here I'm using Yarn, so I have set the version to 4.2, so you just do Volta pin, and then here you will have Yarn, and for instance, if I want to use the Yarn version 3, Yarn version 3 and 4, the differences are not that huge. The biggest difference was from Yarn 1 to Yarn 2. Also, the comments were not the same, but from Yarn version 2, the performance is also much better. We can really see a huge difference. So here I will go back to Yarn 4. You can see now Yarn 3, the latest version of the branch 3 is 3.8. I will pin back Yarn 4, and instantly this project in my case is my decision app. So the name is FastMove, as you can see here. Actually, I have the name. Oh, I should actually rename that one. It's not here in package, so I will do FastMove like this. Perfect. Version 1 for now. The entry point is app entry. And for Node, if you want to use, for instance, Node 18, again I do Volta pin Node, and here 18. Perfect. And so normally, let's just wait a little bit. Oh yeah, it's because it has to install the Node version, so that's why it's a little bit slower. Nearly there, 81, 82%. In the meantime, let's continue with the dev dependencies. So dev dependencies, normally you have all of the types for TypeScript. So like here you can see I have React Native types. I have the plugin transform private, the core, Babel, Prettier, that's also only for dev purposes. TypeScript, of course, I'm only using it for dev, and so on. And that's the other dependencies I want to use when I'm shipping my app. In my case, because it's React Native, it will be to the Apple Store or to the Google Play Store. I will use Fastlane to ship that. So I will send the binary file for each store, for the iOS and for the Android, through CLI with Fastlane. So now we can see it's done. So here it has installed the version 18. It was a little bit slower because I didn't have Node 18 already installed. But in my case, I want to move back to version 20. So again, I will just quickly do Volta pin and the node at, and here it will be 20. Perfect. And here it will be much faster because I have already, I should have had, yeah, I'm not sure why it's still downloading. Anyway, you can see it's a little bit quicker. So now let's go back to the different files of the app. I have the components. So that's the app icon, like my logo in my case. I'm using native base at the moment. the team behind Native Base are moving away to a different library. They decided to create a new library from scratch and not to continue updating Native Base. Let's see if that will be really the case or not, but that's the UI library I'm using for the app. And then, and actually I mentioned that on the README, here I will just update, it's yarn 4. Version 3 is berry. Version 4, I'm not sure the name of the version. I think it's not berry, probably not. TypeScript 5, yes, and the UI. Oh yeah, and here I'm not using Race. I think I will just use Express.js for the backend. Communicate, so I will just remove that. Yeah, that one is redundant, perfect. And Native Base for the UI, perfect. And here I will just add a emoji like a rocket, perfect. Right, so now I have version 20. That's nice. Here, I think it's because it needs to be kebab case. So that means only lowercase. So kebab case is like this with dash. Fast move. We call it kebab, like a kebab, basically. I'm not sure why, kebab case. Yeah, it's funny. So fast move, perfect. I will save what I have, the name. Here, oh, they had a little, you see, before I had version 20.13, that's why it had to re-download it, because in the meantime, so before I was using 2013, that was set previously, and now it's 20.14. And if you do Volter pin and then node, and if you don't specify, if you just specify 20, it will download the latest of the branch 20. However, if I did 20.13, automatically, you see now it doesn't download it anymore because it has already 20.13 already installed. But if I don't mention the minor version, so the way how the version works is semantic version system. So semantic version, same ver, like this. It means you have the first is the patch, and then here you have the minor, and then here you have the major version. That's how it works. So in my case, I can do 20, and so it will look for the latest minor version. Now it's 20.14, but if I mention the minor version, like 20.13, it will not look for 20.14. Now let's go back to 20.14 because that's apparently the latest at the moment. I do this video on the 1st of June 2024, and so 1st of June 2024, the version is 20.14. All right, so let's go back to where we were. I will just quickly commit fast move and the version, and here update app name. I will actually do one commit for each change. So first the name of the README, update package name to fast move, and now I will commit the node, bump node version to 20.14, perfect. And now the README, I will just make it a little bit bigger, it will be easier. And here it will be update description, update project description, and here the prefix will be README, perfect. And now what else? This one that I don't want to commit, so I will just remove that, perfect. So I can just do a git push, and it will push to my GitHub, and the project of my GitHub, the organization is built for today, for /fast move. Awesome. So now I will close that one. Here we have the app icon, perfect. That's the back chevron icon. I'm not sure if I'm leaving that one because initially the project, I have forked that project from another React Native project I have done as well as a open source project. And because it was quite similar to the new app I wanted to build about decisions, I thought, oh, I will just fork it. Fork that one, it will be easier that way. It's a nice way to fork a Git project to another one instead of recreating a new one from scratch. Finally, the initial React Native project I have built originally is like a boilerplate. So here I have the API helper. And yeah, I use env. That's really nice. Even for a React Native project, it's nice to use environment variables. Nowadays, for the backend, I tend to use Doppler instead, but env variables are still nice for React Native projects. Doppler, I have written an article on my blog dev.to. So it's dev and then period 2/Pierre. So if you check that one, you will see my article about the Doppler and why I'm using Doppler. You also have the js.env, and the name is .env. It was about Vault. I think the name is like Vault, to store the variables in the cloud with Vault. So if you type .env js Vault cloud or secret manager, you will find it online. But otherwise, I'm using Doppler, and that's on my blog dev.to/Pierre. Perfect, like full stop. That's the name. So HTTPS, just like this. I should have pierre.dev, but at the moment I don't. Anyways, so now we can go to the screens, and there that's about yourself, about your preferences. So this app uses AI to make a better decision for you, but for making a good decision, it has to know first about yourself. So this is why you have to write in a few lines. Like in my case, I would say I'm vegetarian. So already AI knows when I will mention a few dishes I want to decide as a restaurant, which one is best for me, but it has to know a little bit about myself, such as my diet and other things like that. Or what I like to eat, what I don't like to eat, what you like, what you dislike, what do you do, your job, your passion, are you passionate about what? And so that way the app will be able to make a better decision for you. So the more details you write about yourself, the better it will be for how accurate the final decision given by the app will be. All right, so here we have preference screen, decision history. That's about the history. I think I will store that in a Postgres. So first, like I said, I'm planning to use a simple Express.js backend API. And then I will use probably, where's my phone? All right, I will probably use Postgres. I have been using Prisma for quite a while, but Prisma, I'm not that a fan actually. Prisma is good, but I think it's a bit too heavy. It takes too much time I think it does too much. So if you know, I have recently discovered Drizzle, and I highly suggest you to have a look on Drizzle. Drizzle is this one. And Drizzle tends to solve a few problems Prisma has. So I suggest you to have a look to Drizzle. It's a really good alternative. And yeah, I may use Drizzle. I'm not sure yet. Here it's like comparison, like on the Prisma official webpage, they speak about Drizzle too actually. And conclusion for the title, Drizzle is focused on being, it's like a wrapper. And Prisma, they do not exactly the same, but Drizzle is a good one. Otherwise, you still have Mongoose, but in my case, I'm planning to use Postgres, so I'm going to use Drizzle. All right, let's continue in our front-end app, which is our native React app. You may wonder why I'm not using Flutter, for instance. It's because I like using TypeScript, I like using JavaScript, I like to use the same language, the same programming language everywhere. And with with Flutter, you have to use Dart. And for me, it's a little bit, I'm not really familiar. Like, it's a little bit too foreign as a language. So I have to learn a new language. It's okay with AI, it's really easy, but still I prefer to use a language I'm already really good at instead of learning a new ecosystem from scratch. So that's the main reason why I'm not using Flutter. All right, so here, yeah, that's the key of the local storage. I'm using the prefix at, and then local storage, and then colon, and here decisions. And yeah, my env file, env.dist, and so on. So you see, I have just the app name, database URL. If I directly want to connect to the database, I will also have API URL. Perfect. License. Here I will just bump to 20. That was the initial year I have written that when I built the first original app in React Native 7 months ago. So here I will do 2024. Perfect. And then what else? So I have a few other files. Index.tsx. I'm using TypeScript everywhere, so it's tsx. All right. And I can also use some hooks from my React project. Of course, I cannot use the same components for React and React Native, but the hooks can be the same. The helpers can be the same too. We can share them. So that's why it's nice to use React Native if you already use React for the front end. Otherwise, if you want to use Flutter, then it's better to use Flutter for the web as well, because with Flutter, you can also create a desktop, mobile app, and web version too. But with React Native, you can also use desktop. You have a few integrations to use it as a desktop app if you need to, as a binary desktop app, but it's not as common. Flutter is a bit more common to build desktop app. So desktop app is like Electron. I think Electron is still best for desktop app. Flutter too, but React Native, you have to use a specific plugin for it, but I would then recommend to use Electron with TypeScript and React. Electron has been out there for way longer, and the community is bigger than the people using React Native for desktop. That's my opinion, but that's also from my experience. All right, and then the services. And in the services, at the moment, I save everything locally on the device of the mobile, of the iOS or Android. But if I want to make some calls to the API, I will use that's directly for the AI. But otherwise, I will use like API, and then .service.ts. All right, so that was a walk through my app, my decision app. I should publish it in maybe 3-4 weeks. Let's see. And any recommendations, any suggestions about the app, feel free to let me know. I'm always so happy to have some nice suggestions from you. So feel free. I will just finish eating my cheese here. And yeah, so happy coding if you're also coding an app or something like that. I hope you liked it. It's always nice to build something like that, something with a purpose behind. I don't like to build an app if it doesn't have a purpose. You see, that's the final decision of the item. So the person, you as a user, you write the two decisions, decision A and decision B you want to make, what decision, and then you have the final one, the one you can build. And that's from decision A and B. And yeah, I have done pretty much, I would say 45%. So I'm nearly half of it. But then probably I will publish it already, and then after I will go further. I will continue to add features. That's the best way to go, and I will build the backend. Every day shipping something really small. Every day something that my MVP will be something perfect but incomplete. Instead of shipping something complete, like with all features, but not perfect, with a lot of bugs, I just want something really perfect that works very well, but minimalist. with only one feature. And of course, one feature maybe is way not enough, but every day we'll do like for 2 hours, a little bit more, tiny more, and step by step, it will still be perfect and more features over time. And so over time, it will have a compound effect, which is amazing. All right. Let me know in comments as well what kind of React Native app you are building in your case. I'm so curious to know what you might be building right now. It's always nice to share. And that's all for today. Happy coding. Bye bye for now.